Welcome to 21st Sports Recap and Reaction for the San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks in their Week 11 matchup played November 22nd, 2015. We're going to go over the scores and the stats and give our breakdown and analysis. So starting off in the first quarter, with a little under 10 minutes still left in the first, Russell Wilson hit Tyler Lockett for a 24-yard touchdown pass. Huschka added the extra point, and it was 7-0 Seattle over San Francisco. Then with a little over 3 minutes still left in the first, Thomas Rawls scored on a 2-yard touchdown. The extra point was no good, and it was 13-0 Seahawks over the Niners. So that was the score after one. Then in the second quarter, about midway through, with a little over 7 minutes left before halftime, Russell Wilson hit Tyler Lockett for an 11-yard touchdown, their second touchdown connection of the game. Huschka added the extra point, and it was now 20-0 Seahawks over their NFC West division rival Niners. So the Seahawks jumped out to a big lead early, up by 20, and then with just seconds left before halftime, the Niners finally get on the scoreboard as Blaine Gabbert hit Vance McDonald for a 19-yard touchdown. Phil Dawson added the extra point, and it was 20-7 at the half. The Niners would end up scoring with a field goal in the third with just under 10 minutes left in the quarter, a 27-yard field goal by Phil Dawson that made it a 10-point game with the score Seattle 20, San Francisco 10. Then with about 5 minutes still left in the third, Stephen Huschka hit a 33-yard field goal to make it 23-10 as Seattle extended their lead to 13. But Phil Dawson hit his second field goal of the second half just seconds before the end of the third quarter, a 25-yard field goal to bring it back to within 10 with the score 23-13. So that was the score after three. Then in the fourth quarter, just about 2.5 minutes in, Russell Wilson connected with Thomas Rawls for a 31-yard touchdown, and now it was 29-13 as they did not get the extra point. So that would be the final score in this game as the Seahawks win this one in a rout, and they really did quite the number on the Niners in this game as they beat up on their division rivals. Of course, the last touchdown, Huschka's extra point attempt was blocked, but they win 29-13. They're now 5-5 on the season, 3-2 at home, and they now trail Arizona by 3 games. Of course, later on that night, the Cardinals would win on Sunday Night Football against the Bengals. So the Seahawks at 5-5, they still have an outside shot at the Cardinals. It's going to be extremely difficult. They more have a better chance at a wild card. Of course, with St. Louis losing, Seattle now has sole place of second place in the NFC West. Of course, the Niners are in last place in the division with the loss. They're 3-7 on the season, and they have yet to win a road game in 2015. And the Blaine Gabbert experiment ain't really working. It's been kind of interesting to see Kaepernick out there. Of course, this is a heated rivalry, but Seattle really just running all over the Niners. Of course, jumping out to that early lead, and Thomas Rawls, 209 yards in this game as he comes up huge once again, as Marshawn Lynch did not play in this game due to injury. But in the game, Russell Wilson, 24 for 29, only 5 incomplete passes. He had 3 touchdowns, 260 passing yards. Instead, Rawls with 209 yards. That was off of 30 carries in this game. He had a big workload and a big production on this day. He also had 1 touchdown running and 1 touchdown receiving, as he had 3 receptions for 46 yards, which gave him a total of 255 yards in this game. Doug Baldwin was the leading receiver for the Seahawks with 6 receptions for 60 yards, and Tyler Lockett, 4 receptions for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns. And for the Niners, Blaine Gabbert, 22 for 34, 264 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. He also had 4 carries for 22 yards. The leading rusher for San Francisco was Drawn with 12 carries for just 37 yards. Anquan Bolden had 5 receptions for 93 yards. Vance McDonald had 4 receptions for 65 yards and a touchdown. Drawn also had 8 receptions for 40 yards, which gave him 77 total yards in this game. And for the kickers, Steven Hushka 1 for 1 on the field goals, 2 for 4 on the extra points, as they were getting after him on the extra points. But Phil Dawson 2 for 2 on the field goals, 1 for 1 on the extra point. And on defense, for the San Francisco 49ers, Brooks had a sack, and for Seattle, Cliff Averill had 2 sacks in this game, and KJ Wright had a forced fumble. And we look at the team stats. The Seattle Seahawks had twice as many first downs, as they had 28 first downs to just 14 for San Francisco. And they had 4 times as many third downs converted, as they had 8 third downs converted out of 14, giving them a 57% conversion rate, whereas the Niners had just 2 of 11 third downs converted, only 18%. We look at total net yards, 508 for Seattle, just 306 for San Francisco. That's 202 more net yards for the Seahawks, and they really dominate them on the ground, as they had almost 5 times as many rushing yards, with 255 rushing yards versus just 59 for San Francisco. And net passing yards was a lot closer, as it was 253 for Seattle, 247 for San Francisco. Both quarterbacks getting sacked twice, as Russell Wilson was sacked twice, losing 7 yards, and Blaine Gabbert was sacked twice, losing 17 total yards. And we look at the penalties, 8 penalties against Seattle for 51 penalty yards, 5 penalties against San Francisco for 42 yards. The Niners did have 2 fumbles, which they recovered themselves. And we look at the red zone, 2 for 3 for Seattle, 66%, 1 for 3 for San Francisco, 33%. And we look at the time of possession, 37 minutes, 39 seconds, 22 minutes, 21 seconds for San Fran, as the Seahawks had the ball nearly twice as much. So the Seahawks, although they let the Niners climb back to within 2 scores, they really just totally dominated this game against their heated division rivals, as these teams had been battling for trips to the Super Bowl, but now they're really just battling to save their season. And the Seahawks, they did get a big win here to get to 500. It was something that they definitely needed. And the Niners, their season is all but over, as they're pretty much going to be waiting till the draft and waiting until next year, as this was kind of what you expected out of San Francisco with all the changes that they've had all around that team. Not to mention the more recent change at quarterback. But the Seahawks looking good, especially Rawls, the former Wolverine, another big game. So even without beast mode, they still were able to run all over San Francisco. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and had a great weekend and enjoyed all the sports.